Live?
Live.
Live.
Are we? We are. We are.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, it's the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk movies, sports, TV shows, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfuckers. With nary signs. I'm like, what? How can this... They have Photoshop. Photoshop exists when this artist rendition was done. How the fuck is this not cooler looking than a sketch that looks like it was done by a hillbilly off the side of the road? What the fuck are we talking? Why is this a thing?
Welcome to the party, pal.
Steph. Mayor Sr.
Yeah, I don't have to look for you.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
And Mike Markadal.
I'm just glad I like vanilla, boring sex like this. I'm glad that the sex I enjoy won't get me killed.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
Hello.
I am in a mirror dimension.
Welcome to this dimension's episode of WuBro. What's up, bro? Your favorite podcast where you come to watch and, in some cases, listen to people talk and dissect super popular movies. I am Nary Science. With me, as usual, is Mike Mercadal.
What's up, bro? Is it a spoiler special if like enough time has passed, like where the spoiler ban time frame is expired? Like, because if you haven't seen,
time is just a construct, man.
time is just a construct. So is our reality.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm not here to say that Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness, I'm not saying I went to go see it on acid, but I should have. Like, it would have opened
I'm
up
not
my
saying
mind, man.
that I want pizza balls,
Yeah.
but I do.
What are those? Oh, man.
Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness. It's Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is what the official title is.
Yeah.
Movie came out, I want to say 3 weeks ago, a month ago.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Here, I have it here. Hold on. Let me see. Because I have the...
We got to do the IMDb description.
Yeah, it came out. Oh, fuck. When is it? It doesn't have a release date. It came out in 2022. If you're a Kickflix viewer, you'll know that it doesn't get more specific than that. We never say when the movie comes out, like specifically. Release dates. In the U.S., it was May 2nd, so it was about a little over a month ago.
A little over a month ago.
Yeah.
To be fair, I've been wanting to do a spoiler episode for a few weeks, and a lot of spoiler specials lately I've been doing with Jeff. Jeff has just been really busy, so scheduling has been difficult. And then Mike was like, in my universe, I do the spoiler specials. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, I'm in.
I have absorbed
anyway, so-
Jeff. I have absorbed Jeff's power because I know how to use it. Not you, you dumb motherfucker. I can take it, you stupid little kid. I got your fucking power right here. No, I'm just kidding. That's relevant.
We'll
to the
talk
movie
about
if you've seen it.
about America. Yeah, I'm Latina. We're fucking got a Latino in the multiverse. An MCU.
Is she though?
She's
from,
legit.
She's of course as an actress and also the name America Chavez, super Latina. But
Yeah.
is she Latin American? Is she Hispanic? Well, she is
In her
Hispanic because she
universe?
speaks Spanish. But yeah, her universe is this whole other world where it's like not like
Where two moms is the thing.
oh my so wild. What a weird and wacky
So,
universe.
You know, so people got mad at that. People got mad at
of
the.
course
at the,
they did. Everybody gets
but
mad at everything.
what made me laugh is like you don't know if in her universe that's even lesbian because they were like you gotta push the gay agenda. I'm like you don't even know if in her universe you don't know if that's gay. You don't know. It could be like seahorses where the male has the babies. It could be like two women. That's how you make babies in that universe. It's two women.
You know,
That wouldn't be
it's
gay.
true. For all those people that are like, gender is what's in your pants. You didn't see in their fucking pants. What if they have two dicks? What if
Correct.
What if that's just how men and women look in they just look the same? What if that's the way it is in their universe?
Correct.
You don't even know. Haha, turned your own bullshit against you. You imaginary
how
racist
dumb you sound?
person. You see how
You
dumb
see
you
how
sound,
dumb you
fake
sound?
person?
All right, so
hey, we should probably
Doctor
do a
Strange
spoiler
2.
warning.
Spoiler warning. Doctor Strange 2 opens up, and it's America Chavez, or we find out later is America Chavez running on some like weird floating universe thing with a Doctor Strange with the dopest ponytail on Earth.
Full on
Or any
Steven
Earth.
Seagal ponytail
Yeah.
with the streaks in it in a different
Oh,
place
it's
that
great.
our Doctor Strange has it. I don't want to make fun of everything, but a lot of the differences do make are silly. Like when you talk about like the different universes where it's like, yeah, pizza balls and food, like all that stuff. They just do it because like, haha, the lights are green. Green means stop.
Well,
Red
they're
means
just trying
go.
they're just trying to show,
Right.
hey, this is a different universe.
Right, which I totally
This
am
isn't
okay
your
with.
universe.
But it was one of those things where it's like his streaks are in a different place, man. He went gray, different than your Doctor Strange.
He's the same but different. Hey, your hands are fucked up, different but the same.
Yeah.
So it's just I
They're
get
in
it.
what's called the gap junction. So apparently that's like the place in that multiverse or like in between universes.
Junction. What's your function?
The gap junction. But it is a like a middle ground space where they're looking for the Book of Vishanti, which
You're looking for the MacGuffin.
The MacGuffin, of course. But they were looking for the whole
It's
time.
a shiny MacGuffin with an aura, and you're like,
the
oh,
aura
the
behind it
MacGuffin.
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
It has a pedestal. It had its own pedestal. It was like, this is the MacGuffin you want.
Yeah. Look over here where we've directed you to look. There is like spotlights and arrows, like neon pointing.
Yeah.
Like it's like a Chuck Jones cartoon with like.
Yeah. It's like bad guy hideout. It's like movies MacGuffin right here.
Well,
like, oh, okay.
it was in that moment, but then but that kind of goes away.
No,
because
it's the MacGuffin the entire movie into the end when it's done. The MacGuffin the entire movie.
But
they go to different universes looking for that same MacGuffin. Oh, I know how to beat her. Blah blah blah. We got to find this book of light, whatever the fuck it was called. I forgot what it was called. I just saw it yesterday again.
Yeah,
I already forgot what it was called.
But
it's the MacGuffin the entire movie until they pull the ultimate. The answer is within you.
Yeah, it's the MacGuffin is the friends we made along the way.
Yes. It's like we don't need that. We need this MacGuffin. We need this MacGuffin. Or what? She burned a MacGuffin. It's fine, because what we needed all along was in you the whole time. And you go,
Shit, I should have watched this. I watched it opening weekend, and then I watched a bootleg of it. You know how like you can only watch a bootleg so long.
Oh, I saw it in theaters twice. The opening weekend, and then I saw it this time. I saw it yesterday because the other comedian that's on the ship with me, we have what's called turnaround day, which is like we're on the same ship. We're gonna stay on the same ship, but we got to get off the ship for a few hours to get back on. And then we're like, let's go to the movies. And then I'm like, yeah, what do you want to watch? You want to watch Doctor Strange 2 or Top Gun? And he's like, what do you want to watch? I'm like, I've seen both, and I would gladly see both again, either one again.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm going to call my wife and ask her. And I'm like, this is a bad decision.
Wow.
This is a bad decision. And then he did, and she got mad at him because, how dare you go watch these movies without me? And I'm like, yeah.
You shouldn't have said anything.
You should have just watched the movie, not said anything, and then you watch it with her and pretend it's the first time. And like, wow, I never expected that to happen. That's crazy.
Like I will say this. Okay, so let's talk about the movie as a whole, just so before we jump into it. I love that it's a Sam Raimi movie, and it was Sam Raimi as fuck. It had so many Sam Raimi-isms in it, including Bruce Campbell beating the shit out of himself. Like that's straight out of Evil Dead 2. It had a ton of like Deadite Army of Darkness references, like the demons that come and get him. That he then turns.
I've never seen that movie, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I loved all the horror.
I hated
of it.
The Sam Raimi-ness that I hated was that I don't know if this was a reference to one of his movies, and if it was, I guess it would make more sense. Because when Rachel McAdams goes drop dead to the fucking demons, I was like, oh, fuck off. Shut up. It's
I don't
too
remember that
much.
exact line, but yeah.
So the demons are coming out of his eyes, and then she's like, they're attacking her, and she knows to get a lantern or some kind and then put light into it, and then the light kills them.
Oh,
whatever.
right. Yeah, there was that
And
whole...
so they're attacking him. And so before she kills the last of them that are attacking him, she goes, drop dead. And I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Yeah, I can't
Are we
remember
still
if
doing that
that's
whole
a
like
Evil
cool
Dead.
line before I fire the last shot bullshit in movies?
Yeah,
Are we
they
still
should.
doing
They
that?
should bring that back.
That's
Your,
so
like,
fucking
boom
awful. It
to
was
the
so
alligator,
bad.
your luggage from
Yeah.
Eraser. Yes.
Yeah. That's so dumb.
Sub-Zero. No. Dead Zero or whatever the fuck it was. He had to
My
split.
favorite of all time was in a shitty movie called I Come in Peace. And it starred Ivan Drago himself
Oh, sure.
as a cop.
Dolph Lundgren.
And there's a bunch, and there's an alien. There's two aliens. One of them is an alien cop, and then the other one is an alien criminal, and the cop is looking for the criminal. And so the alien criminal, all he kept saying is I come in peace, and then he will kill people, right? And so towards
Okay.
at the end, before Ivan Drago gets to kill him, or right before he gets to kill him, he's like held in a situation where he couldn't fire, he was helpless. And then he goes, I come in peace. And then what's his name says, and you leave in pieces, asshole. And,
Yeah.
and he fires the guy. You go, that's all right.
Guitar squeal. Yeah. It's like that's what you hear in your head whenever that happens. That's the emotion you feel when you're like someone.
Well,
says a good,
that's
a
why
good line.
the
It's
Rachel
like,
McAdams
fuck
thing.
yeah.
I was like, it was so forced. It was so, and I literally said this yesterday when I watched it. I was like, oh, Sam Raimi, Jesus, like so fucking. Oh
But
my
I feel
God.
like there. Look, to be fair, like there's an element to this movie that like this movie is like fucking dark. Like there's a lot.
Yes.
It's a horror movie, but when you take away like some of the horror elements of it, the story itself is dark. Like this man is caught between universes. There's like all of this omnipotent, omnipowerful being. You know, this that can spirit walk, or what's it called? Ghost walk. What was it called? Spirit walking.
I think it was called Spirit Walk. or
Spirit
something.
walking, where they could jump. She could like use the Darkhold, this like evil ass book, which hopefully comes like they destroy, but in all universes that book is gone, which means I think they kind of like, it was kind of like a fuck you to the Ghost Rider. Like, well, I guess the Ghost Rider from the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is never coming back, but which sucks because I liked that Ghost Rider. I liked Robbie Reyes, and
Oh, you mean the other Latino?
the other one, they got rid of it. But it's like it becomes this thing of this woman who was like the classic Scarlet Witch story with the House of M, where what's the one after it, where they've convinced that her children never existed, and that she learns that they did exist, that they do exist in other, that she like goes crazy and starts fucking murdering people. But that the fact that she's like just trying to find her kids, like the delusion of it, I think is like dark. And then also the delusion of Doctor Strange to think that he's like in charge, and then all of a sudden there's like a million other Doctor Stranges that are also like I love that
Dreamwalk. That's what it's called. Sorry,
Dreamwalk.
Dreamwalk.
Yeah. I just love
Right.
that like when you think about like the bigger implications of this existential crisis movie, it's like, ugh. Oh, right, magic and Marvel and all the ha ha ha, you're drop dead. Yeah, like it felt like it
I
diffused.
like the fact that he's always in every universe. He never got Christine.
Yeah,
There
well,
wasn't
it's
a
fixed
universe.
point in time.
Yeah.
Like
There was never a universe where you go, oh, I got the girl. And that was a great line by that dude. He was like, yeah, my cats died.
Oh, the doctor that he's like,
Yes.
yeah, my brother died, but my cats.
But he didn't say brother first.
He
said
said
my cats first, which I found really odd for them to do that. Like, I get it, man. We love our pets, but if my dogs die and my brother dies, I got to be honest with you, my brother's getting top billing.
Yeah,
In that
but that's the
conversation.
weirdness of that guy. That guy was also the asshole in the first one, that
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, you're
I don't know
you're
if he was
stuck
an
there forever.
asshole. He was, he was another asshole
Another
in that,
asshole.
because Benedict was a fucking
Okay,
asshole in himself.
right, right.
But that was a great line when he said, best doctor had to be the best superhero. You still didn't get the girl though. And I
Yeah,
was like,
like more.
oh shit, which is very ballsy. Which
Oh,
is very ballsy for him to say to somebody who could literally turn him into a toad.
yeah, yeah. Zap, like, oh, I can make it so that you never existed.
Yeah, I can,
I can erase your existence off of the multiverse.
yeah,
I do love that Wong is the Sorcerer Supreme and not Doctor Strange, because it's like, of course he wouldn't be. Wong is the guy who was
right.
still here for 5 years.
It
You know?
kind of made me feel like when Buffy died for a minute, and then they brought in the other. Like, I don't know if you ever watched Buffy.
Michelle Trachtenberg or whatever, is that her name?
So
Her sister.
Buffy dies for like an episode or half an episode, whatever. But as it happens, when what was her title?
The Slayer or
Yeah, when one Slayer dies, the next one is immediately activated.
right.
Like that's the way it works, right? And it's like your birthright. Oh, one of them died. There's always one Slayer. And then when Buffy came back to life, they were like, now there's two Slayers. And I'm like, yeah, but we know who the real Slayer is. It's not Jessica Alba.
Oh, right. What,
We
I
know
don't
who that
remember
is.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I never
So
watched Buffy like all the way through. I've seen like some of the episodes.
I watched a lot. Yeah, I watched Angel. I liked Angel more so than Buffy. But yeah, my whole point is we're watching he's a sorcerer supreme. Like, Wong's a sorcerer supreme. We're like, yeah, but he doesn't have the cloak.
Yeah, the
So
cloak. And when you go back to the first movie, the cloak is not the Sorcerer Supreme thing. It's just the relic
no,
that picked Doctor Strange.
yeah, and
That means
he
that
has two
Wong
relics.
has a bunch of relics
Yeah,
that we don't see.
Benedict has a bunch of this guy has a bunch of relics too. Strange has a bunch of the Eye of Emoto. He still has that.
But
That's
it
a
doesn't have the
relic.
time stone in it. But yeah, it
Doesn't
has.
matter.
It's a relic. But like even Mordo in the first one had the rod of the living tribunal, which they show the living tribunal face in the Thor trailer, and there's like a universe where when they're crashing through universes trying to escape, America Chavez like does the powers by accident. They show all of like some deep cut shit. If you go in the background of those scenes when they're jumping through like the paint universe, and then the weird shaped one, and then there's this other one where they're like blocks, and then in one of them you can see, like, if you know like the comics, the like living tribunal and eternity and all of those like beings that are like super powerful cosmic entities in the in the comic universe. They're there. So like they're like flashes of these like little hints and things.
You know what would have been cool? I would have thrown, if I was the artist on that, going through all those universes. All those universes were very cool, but I would have thrown in some Pixar shit. Remember when Pixar went Inside Out, when they went and it became shapes?
Yeah,
I would have thrown that
yeah.
shit in there. Like, I would have thrown like little shout outs to like to that type of like
I think they
nonsensical.
I think they well, first of all, okay. So have you seen the Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers movie?
Bro, yes.
So good, right?
So good. I was telling the other comedian that on the ship, I was like, it has no business being this good. Like, it's
out of
good.
out of the blue. Like it just dropped, and they're like, "Hey, it's on Disney Plus." And then I saw some weird interview with John Mulaney and Andy Samberg on Jimmy Kimmel, because Jimmy Kimmel got COVID, and they were like, just like, "Hey, we'll host the show," and they interview each other about, and they're like, due to financial, they were like just blatantly saying that due to financial reasons, they're dropping the Chip and Dale's movie on Disney Plus. Apparently, they like, because of theater releases and things like that, they're just like, we're dropping shit on streaming. And that movie was deserved to go to the theaters, because it is a Roger Rabbit like in spirit sequel. It feels like Roger Rabbit.
So my daughter, we were watching the movie, and my daughter afterwards said, Papi, and I said, yeah. She goes, is Mickey Mouse part of Disney? And I go, of course. And she goes, so why wasn't he in the Rescue Rangers movie? And I go, huh, that's a good catch. And I said, I don't know. That's a good question, because I'm very surprised that they had Batman in there. That threw me off.
first of all,
Batman is Warner Brothers,
Batman is as Warner Brothers, and then also they had
and E.T.'s not Disney.
E.T. is no, is Universal.
Amblin.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the Amblin Entertainment. But they had Ugly Sonic, which I think is, I don't know who owns it because it's not the actual Sonic that got released by Universal.
Oh, that's Paramount.
Paramount. Yeah, and I don't know how all these these rights things work anymore.
But isn't it weird that you have all of this, but you don't have Mickey?
I think Mickey's more expensive, and I think like.
But it's your own company. How is it more expensive? It's your own company.
I think it's just like, I don't know. Whatever the point being is that felt like a cool multiversal movie also.
Yeah.
Like separate from, we could talk about Chip and the Rescue Rangers all day because I thought it
Join our next episode.
Yeah,
Rescue Rangers the movie.
It was great.
Spoiler special.
It was great, and it really kind of talked a lot about like how like nostalgia, like the nostalgia.
Nostalgia porn. Just nostalgia porn.
Nostalgia porn. It like where Dale gets the CGI upgrade and then Chip does
the surgery. Oh, we all know you got the surgery.
God, it's so fucking clever, that movie. Whatever. This movie was, I thought, okay, let's start. So they go into the Gap Junction, they get caught, like the Defender Strange gets killed by that demon monster.
Defender Strange, wait, a very pivotal point you're forgetting. The Defender Strange tries to kill Chavez because he believes it's the only way that her power won't be get in the wrong hands, which is a pivotal story point, because we come to find out that in every universe, Doctor Strange always does what he believes needs to be done, and it's his way or the highway. Like he always has to be, quote unquote, the one holding the scalpel.
Yeah, I love
the
that
one holding
line
the knife.
too, yeah.
So that's a big deal. So we go through that. Then he wakes up because it's a dream, but we soon find out that there are no such thing as dreams. That dreams are just
visions of the multiverse, your
of
other multiversal
universes.
selves. Yeah,
yeah.
And I love that line of like Wong, even the one where I'm running from I forget
A
what
clown.
Yeah, clown. He's
I'm running naked from a clown. He's like, yeah, that's real.
Yeah, that's real.
Somewhere
somewhere
that's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is great because that means somewhere in some universe I'm fucking Jennifer Lawrence. I think that's amazing.
I mean, it's out there somewhere. What a positive look on the fact that if you can dream it, you can achieve it.
Right? Yeah. A dream is just a wish that your heart makes.
A dream is your heart makes. But they okay, so then they bamf through the star portal, which I loved the representation of America Chavez's star portal. Super cool. And
now here's the thing though. Now here's my question. Would the shape of the portal change if she changes the patch on her jacket?
I believe the patch on her jacket was made by the portals, and therefore no, it would absolutely no. Of course, it's like.
Wouldn't it be crazy if she put like a different shit? Like if she put the WuBro logo on her jacket, now the portal comes out as the WuBro logo.
As like a big microphone.
With the palm trees.
But yeah, like we haven't even gotten into the whole so yeah, they end up in the real world, they do all this explanation, that this other monster attacks, and then once they there is that moment where they bury the body, which I thought was funny. Like, there's two Doctor Strange bodies in this universe, and that is key later. Chekhov's gun, but it's like Chekhov's corpse.
Well, it made me I enjoyed the fact that it comes back later, because when I first saw it and I saw that scene and he buried it, I was like, why don't you just burn it? You can make fire. You're a wizard.
Yeah.
Just fucking burn it. And it makes sense later on why he didn't burn. I'm like, oh, and when it happened later on in the movie, the first time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, oh man, thank God he didn't burn it.
Don't listen to me. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Don't listen I was stupid. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know, you're the sorcerer supreme, kind of. You get what I'm doing. All right, go ahead.
I love that when they drop, so that whole fight with that thing that looks like Shumagarath, but it's not. That it's it's like Gargantos or whatever the fuck is the name of it.
Yeah, kaiju. It's a kaiju.
big giant monster. And there's tons of like cool uses of the magic, that big saw blade. I love all that shit. And then they end up, that's where they learn all the stories if they rescue this kid, and that's when she explains everything. The classic exposition dump.
Right.
Look, in my universe, such and such, and then it's like, here's the information for the audience to know. And then they go, and then when they talk about like, oh, it had runes. Wong says my favorite line in recent MCU, which is like, this isn't sorcery, it's witchcraft. Bing bong, drama. And then they go, and then he goes to talk to to Wanda. And in that moment, I'm like, fuck yeah. And I'll be honest with you, none of the movie was spoiled for me. In fact, before the movie came out, there was a lot of spoilers online. And when they, like, Wanda becoming the monster of the movie, the villain, was not spoiled for me. And all of the stuff that they said, like all of the spoiler stuff that came out, Tony Stark is going to be this variant, this universe's version of Tom Cruise is going to be this version of Tony Stark, of Iron Man, superior Iron Man, and blah blah blah. And there was like a whole article.
Wow, I never heard any of that. Heard any of that.
I was waiting for Tom Cruise to show up for the whole movie. But there was like all these papers written about like, and ultimate superior Iron Man, Tom Cruise is going to be the one who actually built Ultron right, and blah blah blah, 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 blah. And now one person mentioned the actual version of the genius that we are about to see. But
man, again, we talk about this often when we talk about these kind of shows and or movies. One, I never heard or read any of those things, and two, who has the time to do it? Like, this is what you do. All right. But so I'm one of those people. I don't know how you felt about WandaVision. I very much loved the show WandaVision. When that show came out, I was the one yelling at the top of my lungs, she's a villain. She's a villain. And people were like, she had traumatic experiences. And she had it. I'm like, she's the fucking villain. I don't give a fuck what your reasons are. She's
both
the
true.
Villain.
She did go through like, trauma and had to like redeem herself and all that stuff. And in the are you talking about as WandaVision was being released when there's like the whole?
No, I'm talking about when WandaVision ended.
Yeah.
I was just like, she's a villain and she got away with it. Like, we're just gonna let her get away with this shit. Like that's what I kept saying. And people were like, no, she had traumatic. She had her husband died in front of her. I'm like, have we met Thor?
Yeah.
Have you met Thor?
Yeah.
Because he's been through some shit.
I can't wait for
Go ahead and put that
Love
out
and
there.
Thunder. I can't wait for Love and Thunder. But yeah, you're right. And at the end, when they show her with the fucking Darkhold, I was like, oh, she's bad. She's a villain.
Right.
And it's going to be something cool that comes up later. And I was like, maybe she unlocks Ghost Rider. I'm waiting for Ghost Rider. I fucking love Ghost Rider. And I'm waiting to see like a version of that. And when they show that it's the Darkhold, like straight up by name, I was like, oh, this unlocks a lot of comic book stories. But I remember before COVID, right before the pandemic hit, they did the big announcement, the big Comic-Con lineup of all of the things that were coming. And it was like a fucking like knockout blows, announcing like all of the lineups and WandaVision, and people are like, don't know what WandaVision is. They thought Multiverse of Madness, and they announced it as Marvel's first horror movie. And everyone's like, oh fuck. And then they announced the Eternals, and they announced and like Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek, like these big name actors. And then that was also like when they announced Blade at the very end, that Mahershala Ali was going to be Blade. And it was like this huge fucking spectacle of things. And then COVID kind of changed all that stuff in the order of the lineup. And then I remembered that Kevin Feige specifically, WandaVision leads into what happens in Multiverse of Madness. And I was like, oh, okay. And so when she fucking clicks her fingers and everything that like is revealed around her to be like the dark version of herself, like when she gives it away, like she says America Chavez's name, and then there's that moment
when she said that, I picked up on it immediately. I
think it was
boy.
like I think it was for the audience, where it's like,
yeah,
oh, this is what's happening. Oh, she's like, that was like one big
that's another Sam Raimi trope. I mean, that's a big trope in general, but Sam Raimi
Like
does it a lot in his movies, where you like, you didn't mention that, did you? And it's like, no. It's like, son of a bitch.
son of a bitch. But it was definitely one of those, like, he set it up, and it was very rewarding in that moment to be like, ooh, 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 boom. And now we're going to war. And they go to Kamertage, and seeing Kamertage be defended with magical shielding and shit like that, and that moment where Wanda appears behind that guy's shoulder,
Yes.
genuinely gave me not a jump scare, but like a jump heebie-jeebies, a jump creep.
Chills.
Yeah, where I was
Chills?
just like, ooh, like,
Well, you know what's funny, because you know what I kept thinking about in that moment when she was like, they kept showing her looking for the weak spot.
yeah.
The Water Boy, where the kicker was like looking for the weak spot. And he's like, there you are. There's my bitch. And he kicks it through the fucking. That's all I kept thinking about. It's like she's like looking for the weak spot, and then she finds the guy that has like sweat in his brow, and she's like, "There's my bitch."
He's like, fortify your defense, fortify your minds. I love how like Wong is like just yelling shit, where he's like,
yeah,
fortify your no, I'm sorry, don't yell at me. You startled me. Ah, fuck, she got me.
Yeah,
yeah, but that whole scene of when he locks, like the whole fight scene of her being a villain, and she's not even using her full power, classic anime shit where it's like, I'm not even full, this isn't even my final form, when she's like just blasting through shit, and then when he locks her in the mirror dimension and she's fusing the reflections to get and attack them. I'm telling you, man, this was the more and more I'm like remembering it as we talk about it, I want to see like the 4K version again, because it was visually stunning.
My friend was like, they trapped her in a mirror dimension. He was like, "Oh, really? You're gonna put a woman in the mirror dimension? That's her. That's where she gains strength, my friend."
Wow, that's fucking. I'm trying to think of like what if there's any like Easter eggy things that we missed that I'm trying to.
So
go
the
through
story.
The
so then they do that. Then Chavez and Take Strange, Steven, takes a shot for her.
Yeah,
it's actually they go into all the universes, all the multiverses, and then they show up into one universe where they're like, let's go into the Magistry of Magic. I know that's not what it's called, but that's a Harry Potter reference, but you get what I'm saying, right? So they go and welcome, my friend. Immediately I was like, bad vibes. But I like the way this is another reason why they did the whole thing, red means go. That was a great line where he was like, oh, this guy hated me. He wanted to kill me back in our universe. And he's like, my friend, come in, blah, blah. And he goes, red means go. Like, he was just the opposite of what.
Yeah. And he's like, my brother, or whatever he says.
I sit there. And then you drank the tea. This is what happens when you drink tea. That shit would have never happened to me. I'm like, nah, I don't drink tea. No, my friend, you want this tea? No.
First of all, I love Chiwetel Ejiofor. I loved him in the first one as Baron Mordo. I love the take that at the end when he's like, I want to set the people are violating the laws of nature and all that stuff.
Right.
Because he's still around in our universe.
Yes.
Like, he still exists. Yeah. But in this one,
I thought he would be one of the bad guys in this movie.
Yeah.
By he meaning the one in our universe. I thought he was going to be one of the bad guys in the movie.
Yeah, I had no knowledge going into this movie. I'm enjoying more and more not knowing anything going into these movies.
That's why I purposely do that. And that's why, like, when we've talked about this before, when you and our friend Will Watkins and your feed, your algorithm is like doing you such an injustice, because I don't have those things. Like, I never read those stories or those theories about Tom Cruise, and I never even, like, you're saying it today and I'm hearing it for the first time, like, oh, that would have been cool, I guess.
Yeah,
but I never heard it. And I was like, oh, okay. By the way, it could still happen.
It could absolutely still happen.
That'd be awesome if it did.
Yeah, we talk about this. I think if it does happen, it's going to happen in Ironheart, and it's going to happen in a future movie or whatever. Or maybe like because the thing is, a lot of people what I stopped doing years ago, which was speculating on the movie I would like them to make. You know what I mean? Like that idea of
Right.
like, oh, the movie sucks because it's not the one I imagined in my mind. It's like, well, what are you talking about? That's that's stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the one I imagined in my mind had them burning up the body in the beginning, so I'm glad it didn't.
Yeah,
make that
exactly.
movie.
Like sometimes
Dude, they
you're
gave
wrong.
us fucking Marvel zombies. How fucking cool is that?
Okay,
Like it's so fucking cool. Like
when we get to
so
it,
I've been trying to just hold back on my love for this movie. I fucking
Yeah.
loved this movie so much. I was such a fanboy of this because I didn't have, and I don't want to say I didn't have high expectations, but I just went in there going like, give me what you got, and it's fine. Like kind of what you were saying now. I'm like, give me what you got. I have nothing preconceived in my mind. And then when they gave me this movie, I was like, this is amazing. Honest to God, I see a Hispanic chick first scene in the movie. I see a Hispanic chick. I'm thinking to myself, that's cool. How quickly is she gonna die? Like I thought that. And then she didn't die. I'm like, she's not dying. That's just amazing. She's an actual important, which by the way, shout out to the internet for making this meme. It's like Marvel makes a Hispanic superhero whose superpower is crossing borders.
yeah. I remember seeing that and I was like, ooh, fuck, that's exactly what it did.
But I
but
thought
yeah,
it was
no,
fantastic.
I
And
love
then they
this movie.
show this movie. They give us a zombie. Dude, the fight scene between the two Doctor Stranges with the music notes. Oh, holy fuck, bro.
Yes.
Holy
Yes!
fuck.
There was
Great.
a moment. There was a moment. So I went to go. I don't drag my wife to these things, but my wife is not as into it. She just
Right.
has seen all of these. She likes them, but she's not as into it as I am, and she
Right.
doesn't really kind of know all of the backstory stuff or even any of the comic book stuff. So she was just like getting a kick out of watching me. Like I do that thing where like you're watching the movie and then you turn to your friend like, "Did you see that? Oh my god!"
Yeah.
Are we watching the same? Like it's like we're watching the same movie. We're in the same room. We do it. We do it all the time when we go see movies together. Where we're like, look at the fucking. When we watched Iron Man 3, when we watched all that shit, we were like, oh my god, yeah. In game, we were like fucking cheering each other on, like because you connect. Like that's something that I think these movies. Like, everyone talks shit about Marvel movies being like amusement park cinema, where it's like it's just spectacle and all that stuff. But I challenge.
Also, amusement parks are fun.
Yeah, they're fun. I challenge that if I'm gonna pay like what is a ticket for me, my wife, and maybe some popcorn, which is like already $60.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm gonna pay that much that much money for a movie, I want it to be an amusement park experience.
Yeah.
I want it to be that level of like, oh my god. So she was watching me having a ball at all of the little shit and the big shit, like the big shit given, but all of the little shit, like the music notes, like seeing some of the Dead Eye, like from because I like Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 and Sam Raimi movies, and the like seeing like little things here and there be revealed, and just like the visually kind of stunning, the Dutch angles that he uses where the camera angles are like not level, so that it adds some like weird feeling of disjointed kind of like uncomfortableness, and I was enjoying all of that. So I was like looking constantly, like checking in with my wife, like, oh, and she would laugh at me because every time something cool would happen, I would just be like, oh, that's dope, like, oh fuck, oh, that's cool, that I like it, I like nod, like, you know how like you as a comedian, when you watch another comedian, sometimes you don't laugh, you're just like, oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Like,
most of the time I don't. Most of the
Yeah,
time
you're
you
like,
just go,
ooh,
oh,
that's
that's
good.
good.
That's
funny.
good. That's
Good.
fucking good. That's funny. That was the level of, for all the little stuff. So she was like getting a kick. She was like laughing. She was like, you were talking to yourself through the movie. And I was like, I mean, it was good. I was enjoying the
Yeah.
whole ride.
So we're gonna get to massive spoiler right now. This is the scene, right? Because he gets to the other world. They put T, whatever. He wakes up. Then that universe's Christine is in charge of the multiverse and numbering them in 616 and all that bullshit, which is really great. And then,
Well, because he's dead in this universe. They show
right,
that he's
and
dead.
then we meet the Illuminati,
Yes.
right?
You have the picture?
Now, no, I don't have a picture.
Oh,
Because why would I? That's preparation.
Yeah.
We meet the Illuminati, and here's the thing: we heard in the trailer, we heard Charles Xavier's voice.
Yes.
Right?
We knew that was coming.
So, well, we didn't know, but we felt that was coming because they could have gypped us and just
It could have
given us his
been Charles
voice.
Xavier playing someone else in the MCU.
Right, or
as-
it could have been Patrick Stewart playing someone else, right?
Yeah, right. Sorry.
So they gave us this, right? And then who fucking pops out? but fucking John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic,
Jim motherfucking Halpert.
Jim Halpert,
And he
and I
pops
was
out
like,
like in the
I
fucking uniform.
freaked the fuck out. I said,
Yeah.
"Oh shit!" I don't know if there was children around me. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I yelled out, "Identity fraud is not a joke, Jim.
Yeah. Identity theft is not a joke. I saw that
Identity theft is not a joke, Jim."
the theater I was in, like everyone was like, there were some people that were like, I knew it. There was one guy that said, I knew it. And then everyone was like, ah, and making noise. And it was genuinely a moment of like fan service. Like this was clearly
it's just
like,
straight fan. Because even the
fan
costume
service.
looked stupid as fuck, right? The costume did not play well to live action.
But
they did
it looked
a
like
super
that universe.
comic. They did,
that
they
universe
did a
looked
super,
like super comic booky and too clean, and it was like this perfect universe where the Ultron bots even looked like weird retro kind of futuristic. The Ultron bot from the comic book in the 60s, like it was like this is the comic book universe version.
Yeah.
Of these
I'm
characters.
just saying it didn't look good for live action. It didn't play well. He's too tall of a guy.
Sure. I liked it. Though.
I liked that they did it because they gave it to the fans, but I don't think it looked well. It didn't look good to me. It looked he's too tall for that dumb costume. And I get it, in the comic books, it makes sense. He's Mr. Fantastic, he can stretch, all this bullshit, whatever. But it just didn't look good. But I like that they gave it to us because they go, here, we gave you the fucking costume that you guys have been bitching about, or a costume, a comic accurate costume. The same thing with Dr. Charles. First of all, Professor Xavier coming out, and I didn't catch this the first time. I'll be honest, because Daniel De Bono told me about this, and I didn't pay. And then the second time, I made sure to pay attention. So when they show Charles Xavier rolling up, they had the fucking theme song to the X-Men cartoon, and it was a Danny Elfman version of that song, but it was still that song.
Danny Elfman deserves an Oscar for this movie. Danny Elfman, even when he goes, oh, this is witchcraft, and they go talk to Wanda, it goes ding 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 ding, like the WandaVision music from the WandaVision show.
No, and only that,
perfect.
Everything, when it was like the setting, the mood, I paid attention to the music a lot. And anyways, so Charles Xavier rolls up, they play the theme song, and the fact that he's in the hover chair, right? That's cool. That's very cool. But from the top view, it looked dope. From the side and bottom views, it looked clunky and cheap as shit. It looked like something that you make a child who's in a wheelchair is like, look, I'm Charles Xavier. Like, yes, you are, buddy. Like shit like that. It didn't play well to live action.
Which is, I think, a point that they make for the MCU in the sense that, like, there's certain aspects of so like in WandaVision, when they do the costume in Halloween, when they show her wearing the classic costume of how it's drawn, it's like, clearly this looks like a Halloween costume.
Right. This clearly looks stupid.
Right. It looks, or it does not, that would not be how this looks in a cinematic universe.
Right.
So when this version of this universe felt like if they just did a 1-to-1 comic book to cinematic universe example.
Right.
And they did it with I hate the Captain Carter shield. I hate the Captain Carter shield because it's like the circles and then the crosses, the Union Jack in the middle, and then it's like it's too clunky. I loved the Captain Marvel, that Maria Rambeau Captain Marvel look, and they did the fucking straight up Black Boltagar, or whatever the fuck. They did Black Bolt, which is, I don't know enough about him as a character in the comics to say anything, but he literally had the fucking tuning fork on his head. Like, it was just a 1-to-1 comic book thing so that they can say, that's what it looks like. If you want that, go get it. Like when they did in Suicide Squad, when they showed Harley Quinn in the... They're like, look how dumb that looks. Like, that's what it looks like. If you want that, that's there. That's what it looks like. So when they showed it, I was like, immediately I was like, this is the utopian, exaggerated comic book version of
Right.
the
Like I said, I'm glad that they gave it to us because it's fan service, but it does look stupid.
Yeah.
Like that's my opinion. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm glad they gave it to us. But the cool thing is, so they show us all these. Black Bolt, I knew as much as everything they showed us. I already knew like whatever they gave us in this movie, I already knew. But that's pretty much my limitation of Black Bolt. Like,
I'm one of the assholes that watched that shitty Inhumans show. I
oh
watched
no, you're
all
bad.
of it.
Yeah, that's.
I
on you.
watched all of it, and it was garbage. It was
Yeah.
trash, and it could have been better. It could have been better, but it was pretty shitty. It was really bad.
So So then Wanda comes and starts fucking everything up, warning them, even
dream
though
walking into herself from that universe.
And she kills everybody. Spoiler. Here's the thing, though. I loved every. It was so good the way she did. It was so good. Black Bolt's death. I literally go, oh shit! Like I was like, oh fucking. It was bonkers amazing.
What does she say? He goes, it's like with one word from his mouth. And then she's like, what mouth? And then and then he goes, what? Bop! And it was awesome.
I mean, it would again. I thought it was super cool. If you want to start, like, this is the times what I'm talking about. Like, if we want to start nitpicking, if I didn't like this movie,
right,
and I wanted to start nitpicking, I would have nitpicked at that. I'm like, because his voice wouldn't have backfired into his brain. That's dumb. It just would have ripped a mouth into his fucking face, right? But I'm not nitpicking. I'm not doing this. I'm just showing you now as an example of if I didn't like this movie, there's plenty of times to nitpick. But I didn't nitpick.
A lot of people were nitpicking online, and I am not actively reading this. I get curious when I'm watching like recap videos, because I go to Screen Crush, which is this guy Ryan Airy and and he does like he's the only guy I really follow for like breakdowns and things like that on YouTube. And some people were complaining that Black Bolt's powers are not, they don't work on him. He's immune to his own power, is what it is.
Right.
So like when he does the voice, and because they do show that Doctor Strange killed Thanos in their universe by using the Darkhold, and that's what corrupted him and and caused the convergence and shit like that.
Well, no, that's not what killed Thanos. No. He was trying to do that, but it wasn't until he admitted to them what he was trying to do, and then they all worked together and they all as a team killed Thanos.
Is that right? I don't remember.
Yeah.
You've seen it more recently than I have.
Yeah. So what happened was they said, so he was trying to use he was using the Darkhold, and because he was trying to do it all himself. And when he came clean to the team saying, this is what I've been doing, it wasn't until after that then he started working with them as a team. They killed Thanos, and they gave him credit because everybody needs a hero. The world needed a hero, so they gave him credit.
Right.
But the team killed Thanos, and it was after they killed Thanos. Then that's when Black Bolt killed Strange, and that's when you see his power, which I thought was cool. Like, thank you for showing his power, because it would have sucked if the whole movie he would have not said a fucking word.
Right. Well, let me read.
But Rookie says Black Bolt's death and that entire scene give him big vibes of the boys.
Are you watching The Boys?
Yeah. Well, I haven't watched this season yet. I'm watching the first episode today.
Fucked up. It's out the gate. This season is already like where.
Yeah, I mean, every season is fucking amazing.
Yeah, the first episode of the entire show, some woman gets exploded by a speedster running through her.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'm sorry. I just want to read it. So, the Illuminati, Strange has brought forth the Illuminati of his trial, consisting of Mordo, Captain Peggy Carter, Blackagar Boltagon, Captain Maria Rambeau, Reed Richards, and Charles Xavier. They believe the Doctor Strange remains the greatest threat in the universe, revealing that their counterpart of Strange had used the Darkhold to look for alternative ways to defeat Thanos. He found the Book of Vishanti, which is the MacGuffin, which the Illuminati used to kill him on Titan. But Strange confessed that he caused an incursion, an event in which reality is destroyed, and thus volunteered to be executed to prevent further destruction. So he used the book of Vashant, like he used the Darkhold and the book of, like, he succeeded in the whole process.
Right.
That this strange.
But it
is
wasn't.
on right
That's
now.
not what killed Thanos.
No, yeah.
He got the book of Ashanti by creating an like it's a whole thing. Like it has it in the Wikipedia as well. Like I get it, but my whole point is like that all that comes to fruition and she kills all these heroes. And then when she
So
killed
fast.
Xavier,
Hey, there was that
Chef's-
moment when she kills
chef's
Xavier
kiss, bro.
that in my mind I thought he was gonna pull her out of it, because I think I thought that she is going to be the Dark Phoenix of this of the MCU.
Oh,
When I
saw it
immediately was like, is this where they're doing it? You know, like they're bringing X-Men in.
Or they already
mutants.
brought in X-Men. They did bring in X-Men, right?
Well,
like Charles Xavier,
mutants
just by his existence, they're already bringing in X-Men.
No,
But what
to
I
the-
thought,
to this universe.
yeah, what I thought was when he's pulling her out, I thought, oh no, he's gonna pull her out and she's gonna be the bad one.
Oh,
Like that's what I thought was gonna
even
happen.
worse.
Like no, I thought that it was gonna be a trap. Like you pulled me out, but I'm the fucking bad one.
Yeah.
So that's what I thought, and I'm like,
Playing
no,
a-
don't help her out. Leave. It's like one of those video games where like, do you help her or do you leave?
Yeah.
Like one of those choose your own adventure. And I was like, don't help her out. It's gonna backfire on you.
Don't
And
do
then
it.
fucking, man, that was brutal.
I'm
man.
yelling
That was
at a
chef's kiss.
pre-recorded medium that cannot be changed by my yelling. No, but I that scene, okay, where she is Dreamwalk Wanda, where because they go to that the Mount Wundagore, which is like in the comics totally different, but it is definitely like a powerful site where the Darkhold is written on the walls, and there's these demon things that are protecting it and all that shit. And then so she starts doing the whole Dreamwalk thing, and whatever. That version of her had so many horror elements that were so like I was just like, oh, so it was like perfectly balanced in my mind of like, sure, this is an MCU movie, but they're like not fucking around. I wanted this to be an R-rated movie so bad as I was watching it, because to a certain extent, yeah, you don't see like the brains blow out of Black Bolt's head, but that alone was super violent. I was expecting it to be much more like gory, like it could have been like The Boys with just blood and guts everywhere, but then also looking back on it, I guess it kind of is better that they're not, that it wasn't like that.
Well, here's what I will say to that.
But
like,
I felt like this was
the
the R-rated moment of the movie.
Yeah, as much as I agree with you that would have been cool, like I don't think it was necessary. Like you showed like horror without showing the blood and gore. You know what I mean? Like I get that. I don't know if it would have added anything to it. It just
I wanted to see titties. I wanted to hear F bombs. I wanted to hear I
don't care about
R-rated.
I don't need the F bombs, but the titties would have been nice. But I love that scene where they're running towards the MacGuffin in the hallway of that universe, where it's the three of them and they're running from her. That scene exemplified horror movie.
Yeah.
They're running from her and they're like, oh, she gone. And then they have this silence. And this is where Elfman's music was fucking just chef's kiss, man. And then she boom pops up and does a fucking the jump scare. Oh, so good. So fucking good.
This movie had a lot of genuine like at no point in this movie was I like tempted to look at my phone even to check notification. Like that's my big gauge of of engagement. That's how I measure my engagement. If I this movie is 2 hours and something long. I forgot how long it is.
2 hours. It's 2 hours.
It's 2 hours long, and I was at no point was I like, let's get to it. At no point. I could have watched another half hour of movie.
Well, all right. So I will say that as I'm watching this movie, I'm like, okay, now it ends, right? Oh no, now we get zombies. Okay. So there was a thing for me where I felt I don't want to. This is gonna sound negative, but it's not meant to be negative. But there was that feeling, kind of like what I felt in Lord of the Rings 3, where you go, oh, it ended. Oh no, okay. So
Yeah.
that's in Lord of the Rings 3, it's a completely negative thing where you could have ended the movie 40 minutes earlier. In this movie, it's not that it's negative. I'm just giving you the example of like, I'm using it as an example of like, all right, the movie's okay. So this is where the final battle. Oh no. Oh, so now he takes over. Okay, so now he takes over now he fights himself with the music notes. Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay, but now clearly he's gonna fight her. Oh, now we get zombies. Okay. Okay. Also, the zombie thing is over. So now, oh no, now it's America versus one. Okay. Like,
Yo,
it just
can we
it
talk
felt
about
like it was like another like, and now
and I
not over
love,
yet. And
but
was
I
like,
will say
Jesus.
this, I as a counterpoint, like that made me go like, oh yeah, like it was like when the
Yeah,
roller
yeah.
coster does that.
Like I
drop,
said,
a
I
second drop.
don't mean it in a negative way. I just meant
Yeah.
it in a like I
Oh.
assumed that it would be over now, and it's not.
Um,
But yeah, when they gave us a zombie, I was like, they're giving us Marvel zombies. Get the fuck out of here. This is amazing.
the second, okay, once she says that they're that because that was a big Evil Dead Army of Darkness moment with those dead things, with the demons or whatever they are, whatever.
Yeah.
But when he starts controlling them and turns them into his fucking cloak, I was like, yeah. I was like, yes. This is fucking dope. And my wife was laughing because she was just like telling, like, there was one of those moments where she was like, oh, you're such a child and I love you. Like, you get excited about these things. Like, she loves how excited I get, because I was like, how dope, because I was so invested in the movie at this point where I was like, even this, you give us this too, what a gift, what a delight, it's so good, you know, like, because it was so perfect, because at that point there is kind of like that defeat that you need in a movie, in a superhero movie, where like how it's kind of like the joke of the anime One Punch Man. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's basically like One Punch Man is a satirical anime like that makes fun of anime, where this guy is so powerful that he defeats everyone in one punch. So the whole theme of the show is that these monsters come and they're like destroying, and they're the biggest in the bat or whatever. And then finally he's like, all right, I finally get to fight something. And he goes, pop, and they explode into like a billion pieces. And he's like, God damn it, I need something strong enough to fight me, you know, like that kind of thing.
Right.
Where it's like so overpowered. This movie, I feel like it gave us a bunch of like he earned the victory at the end. And he didn't even win. America Chavez.
It wasn't him.
Yeah.
It wasn't his victory.
It wasn't.
It's just he took credit for what a Hispanic person did, which is like quintessential what America is. It's like, I'm going to let the Hispanic do the work, and then I will take credit at the end. And not only that, the Hispanic that did get the win will thank me. How fucking perfect is that? It's like, oh, thank you. It's like, yeah, you're welcome, kid. It's like, what? She's
welcome.
the fucking hero, you motherfucker. Like,
She's
what?
the one who did it, you jerk off. There's an element in this movie.
She did all the manual labor.
Yeah.
And he came in and took credit.
Well, there's also like our guy reads the Darkhold in like our Strange.
Yeah.
Strange
Which is
Prime.
why he has a third eye.
And yeah, so like, but that is that how he controls this? I forget the order of things because I don't is that how he controls the demons?
No. The
what
demons
does
have
he
nothing
do
to do
with the
third eye.
Darkhold?
Yeah, the Darkhold is just like, oh, he's one with the Darkhold. Yeah. It's not.
I'm trying to remember.
He did it. No, it's we don't even see our Strange with the third eye until after the movie's done.
Well, no, but yeah, he did something with the Darkhold because Wanda destroys it in all universes.
Right. He used the Darkhold to go into Dreamwalk and to go into that to find the universe
into the corpse.
Right. Yeah. But that's what he used the Darkhold for. But we don't see the third eye until the end of the movie. The movie's over. And then every time the third eye comes, I don't know if you realize, but every time the third eye pops out, they literally play an electric guitar going.
yeah.
Every time.
There's so many good song cues.
Yeah.
Like again, the audio of this movie it adds so much to it. I want to go. I can't wait till it drops on Disney Plus or on streaming or whatever, so that we can watch it like in the full res again. because then I can pause it and go back and all that stuff. Because there's so many moments in this movie that I would love to watch over and over again. The music fight being one of them, because he goes into the incursions. The whole point of this, the reason why the Darkhold is bad and dreamwalking is bad, is because it forces universes to crash into each other. Right? Isn't that's the main main
force? Yeah. If you are going into too many universes, there's so many. Your magnetic field and your vibe could throw that universe into a whole different thing. Right.
And I get it, that's bad, and they show what happens when the universe gets crashed into itself, and then they also show what happens when you try to fuck in the What If series. Did you watch What If?
Yeah, of course.
That it had that it wasn't that strange. It was a different strange, but it was the strange that absorbed all of the powers from the book of where they go see Cagliostro, and it shows that that the universe is contained. But when it shows the universe breaking apart in What If, because he keeps trying to fuck with this absolute point in time. These were different things though, right? Like in the universe that's collapsed, the incursion universe, that they find that bad strange, that good strange fights bad strange. That's a whole separate guy, right? Like that's not Superior Strange.
No, that's a different guy.
A different guy. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to figure
out other me.
Yeah, that's deep cut strange.
So I enjoy one thing that did bother me was when he goes, "Oh, how do I know you're really you?" And he talks about his sister, or how did she die, and he talks about that. I'm like, yeah, but in that universe, she could have died a different way. Like I would have liked for him to have said, "Well, in my universe, she drowned," or in my universe, you know what I mean? Like you use that phrase, "In my universe." I don't know how she died here, but
someone explained that, or gave their version, their interpretation of it, which I kind of agree with. Is that I think that ultimate fixed points in time, like the death in that universe, in the What If universe of Christine dying, that Nexus event of his sister dying is the same in all universes.
Right. All right.
That was a Nexus event, because that's the only way that Doctor Strange because that's what motivates him to become a doctor, and that's what pushes him to be the guy that's holding the scalpel. That's the whole process of making Doctor Strange. His sister had to die in a way that he could have prevented. And that was that I feel is the representation.
I like it. I buy it.
That's where I was good, sold.
So the ultimate thing, what defeated Wanda, was America opened up a portal where her children saw her be Scarlet Witch.
How heartbreaking was that? Was she she's like, shit.
The most heartbreaking thing was how bad actors those kids were.
Those kids.
Holy shit. Those kids were the worst actors, and I've seen fucking Van Damme movies recently. And those kids were the fucking worst actors on the planet in any universe.
Did you? At one point, it's like, how are these kids likable when they're doing that little song about ice cream or whatever the fuck?
Oh my god, it's the fucking worst, dude. They weren't likable in the show, but in the show, you're like, oh, this is all fake. We're fine. But in this movie, we're led to believe that this is a real reality. So
I didn't realize that until afterwards. But in the movie when I was watching it in the theater, I was like, I wrote it off very quickly. Like I was like,
I did too. But it wasn't when I saw it the second time. I was like, oh fuck, I forgot how bad these kids were. Jesus,
like this singing about ice cream. What the fuck are you doing? Like why?
And they were like, I want to tell you. No, I want to tell you. No, I want to show you. I want to show you. And she's like, why don't you both show me? And they're like, oh great, because we've actually synchronized this whole fucking thing.
We've choreographed.
We've actually harmonized. I'm like, brutal.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to take a shout out to say the way that she kills all of the Illuminati was so fast, and it just goes to show that she there's no doubt in my mind that she would have killed Thanos. I think that's clear to say.
Well, she made it clear.
At no point would she have not been able to kill
when they said, why would she not have come up to me before? Why would she just send these demons after me? And he said that was her showing mercy.
Yeah. Like, she says it. She was like, "Yeah, that was me being kind."
Yeah. So,
Yeah, she
uh,
fucking.
anyways, so that's
so
it.
strong.
That's the movie, right? You're gonna
Oh,
rate
you
the movie
froze.
out of 5,
In terms of like MCU, this is one of my favorites now. This is like
right?
top 3. I have to say, but it's hard because this isn't Doctor Strange 2. This is MCU 25 to me. I feel like
Right.
it does not feel it does what I think at this point in the MCU, it's separated itself in a storytelling format that it's no longer like it's doing a comic book movie. It's an MCU movie. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like there's no longer a frame of reference for these movies in the MCU. They're on their own. Cuz yeah, you don't have to watch all of the MCU movies. There's certain things you would have to know going into this movie to get it, but also my wife, who is not necessarily obsessively informed about this stuff, enjoyed the shit out of it. So it's like these spectacle movies that like she didn't like Eternals, but she liked Shang-Chi. You know, that kind of thing where it was like,
Right.
oh, that origin story I liked. This movie is not connected in any way to the other ones, but you know, like I get it, I like it. This thing, like she enjoys the movies as they are without having to like know exactly what's going on. And I feel like with this movie, you need to know a little bit more.
Yeah, you need to watch WandaVision. If you don't
You
watch
n-
WandaVision for this one, it's gonna be very.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine not knowing what's happening. Like, what she created, she invented children. What's happening?
right.
What happened in this town? What, like, because they mentioned
Yeah.
the town by name.
And
So
and I will say this: Disney Plus. If you were on Disney Plus, they did say there was like a selection at some point, or I saw a tweet of some kind that said, if you want to prepare for Doctor Strange 2, because if you have Disney Plus, you have access to everything. So you could go back and watch. Then they gave a list of important things to watch. WandaVision was on there, Doctor Strange 1 was on there, and I think oh, I forgot. And Endgame. Infinity War and Endgame or
yeah,
Endgame, I think was
which
on
is
there.
a lot of viewing for a movie, bro. That's a lot of homework.
It is, but also at this point, there's so much cultural zeitgeist. Like it's just it's in the air. You know, like so many people know who Benedict Cumberbatch is. Like, and
Right. No, but I'm saying, but it's still a lot of homework to do. Like,
to get
you gotta
to
watch.
get the
You gotta
full
watch 3 hours.
experience,
It's
yeah.
because WandaVision is like 4 hours, right? It's like 8 half-hour episodes or something.
Something like that, yeah.
So it's
Or
like
like
4 hours.
or
So
I
you
think
gotta watch
the
4 hours, and then you gotta watch, and you don't have to watch. I don't think you have to watch Doctor Strange 1. I think it helps, but you don't have to.
you're right.
You have
Maybe
to
not.
watch WandaVision. The
I
other thing
think
that helps
what
is
if
watching
what if
is
was
What
on
If.
the list also. Yeah, yeah. What if is
So
also
it's like,
kind of
fuck.
important. So 2 ratings for me as someone who has followed and loved the MCU from beginning to end, who has had a fucking podcast explaining all the way through Endgame with a friend of mine. Like we dove into it and we really love it. Um, the it's a 5 out of 5. It was insanely rewarding as because I'm also a Sam Raimi fan. Like my personal rating is 5 out of 5. It was so many things that I loved
Right.
in one movie, but
5 out of 5. What?
five out of 5 disjointed Scarlet Witch bodies coming through a mirror.
Okay.
5 out of 5 out of 5 pizza balls.
Nice.
Coming out of this movie, but for like the average normal person who just wants to have a good experience, it's still like a solid 4 out of 5 because you can watch this movie, get the full experience, and then go back and be like, what was that? What was this about? What was this about?
Right.
And there's tons of resources to like not be lost, you know? So 5 out of 5 for me, 4 out of 5 if you're just an average non-MCU fan.
My rating is 5 out of 5. Hispanic is 5
Hispanic what?
Hispanic workers.
Oh,
5 out of 5.
You both froze for a second.
5 out of 5 Hispanics doing all the heavy lifting in the important parts of the movie.
5 out of 5
Um,
Hispanic day laborers.
Yeah, it's that's it. The fact that they had her in a field, and when they showed her as a youngin in a field picking shit, I was like, oh, okay, that's it. That's right up
I
our
forgot about that. She was just
right
like,
up our fucking right up our alley.
No? Yeah.
All right. Next to a river? Did they just cross the river to get here? Is that what's fucking happening? But I would say 5 out of. I absolutely love this movie. I was raving about this movie to anybody I could when I first saw it. I felt about this movie, and I was raving this movie the way people were raving about Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the shit. Spider-Man 3, I've gone on record, not only on this podcast, but on multiple podcasts, talking about it on radio in Miami. I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. I gave it a 3 out of 5. That was my rating. I've seen it 3 times since because my kids love it. And I still stand by my rating. 3 out of 5 for Spider-Man 3. This movie, fucking amazing. I've seen it twice now in a matter of a month. And 5 out of 5 both times. I think it's awesome and great. So many scenes. They gave us fan service. They gave us everything that you fucking wanted. And I thought it was chef's kiss. Even I'm not the biggest Raimi fan because he did the original Spider-Man trilogy, and I thought that was hot garbage. So I'm not the biggest Raimi fan because I think he's a bit cheesy at times. But this had, the cheese was limited to those kids acting and Rachel McAdams saying, drop dead. And I was like, oh, shut the fuck up. All right, get it. But I got
small
over
price
that.
to pay for a Danny
Small
Elfman
price
soundtrack. You know what I mean? Like that.
Small
Danny
price to
Elfman
pay,
fucking
baby.
fiasco.
Like I said, I'm just trying to be even keel about the whole thing as far as like, I'm not saying it's a perfect, but I think this movie is amazing. I thought it was fucking fun. I had a great time. I can't wait to have show my kids this movie. It's awesome.
Yeah. It's
Just
a little
awesome.
harsh for kids, but yeah.
They saw the Batman, so I think at this point,
Oh, okay.
anything.
Yeah, the Batman where he doesn't kill, but he fucking brutalizes the shit out
No,
of
where
people.
he literally where literally you see the Riddler killing somebody with a fucking tool,
Yes,
with a carpenter's
sorry.
tool in the
I
beginning of
thought
the
I was-
movie.
Yes, you do. You see it with a fucking carpet.
Awful,
thing.
awful.
God, that movie was pretty good too. I like the Batman. It was all
no.
right. It was. I mean, look, all of these comic book movies that come out, especially the Warner Brothers stuff, that's like, man, like the bar was low for me for anyone. The bar for this movie, Multiverse of Madness, was not low, but non-existent. There was no bar.
I don't have a bar. I don't have a bar with these
bar.
movies anymore. I don't have a bar with
yeah.
these movies anymore. I think the last movie that I had any kind of bar for, and it's understandable, was Endgame.
Yeah.
Because we just saw Infinity War. So like now it's like direct continuation. I get, but even before that, you take away Infinity War, and I don't have a bar for these movies anymore. I think the last one I really had a bar for, honest to God, it was Iron Man 3, and that did not work out well.
No.
That did not work out well
We
for me.
were excited for all the suits in the theater. I remember we went to go watch it again. We were excited for the suits, but at the end. But I
The
remember that
suits?
was the suits. The when all the suits.
No,
come
I'm
out.
saying I was super excited for Iron Man 3, but because I set an expectation of like what I want this movie to be, like we talked about, like it was after that movie that I had to learn.
Yes.
Don't go in there rating a movie based upon what you want. Just go in there and enjoy the ride. And I think that's the one that made me go, oh, I'm just gonna enjoy the ride or not. But I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna have a preconceived notion of what the ride is gonna be.
Fan
Except for
did that for me.
Endgame, which because I was just on the fucking ride.
Yeah.
It's the same ride.
Same ride.
So
Fan 4 stick was for me.
There you go.
That where I'm like, whatever. This was fine. Everyone's so mad at it. And I was like, this is a
people
whatever
got so
movie.
angry. People
So
People got angry at a lot of movies where I'm like, I don't know why you're so mad at this movie for.
Why are you so mad? First of all, it's
5
a
out of 5,
movie.
baby. 5
Shut
out of
the fuck
5.
up at
So
the movie.
this
5 out of
movie,
5, baby.
5 out of 5 is a recommendation. Is go watch it. I can't wait to go watch this fucking movie. So rewatch this movie for the third time. Anyways, check out Mike. Everything is at Mike Mercadal. His Instagram, his Twitter, everything is at Mike Mercadal. Benedict is covering my at, but it's everything is at Nary Signs or what was his name.com is hold on. There you go. What was his name.com. And then that's it. Thank you guys for checking us out. Appreciate you. Rookie, if you're still listening, FYI, the audio versions are caught up, or they will be at the end of this week. So take that. It only took 6 months. It only took 6 months for me to catch up. The audio version right now is at episode 363. And we are with this episode 365. So by the end of the week, we should be caught up. Thank you guys for checking us out. Check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network that are including that include but not limited to. Pero let me tell you, Chow Like a Best with Mike Valdez, Cramacopia with Jeff and Q, Kickflix with Mike, myself, and Jeff, and the other podcast. So make sure you go to geekbro.net. Thank you very much. That's how Dark Sorcery is done, I guess.
My third eye open.